Cool. Okay. Yeah, Mark, thank you for joining me in our little Wetland Society studio,
Yes, good
where,
one.
where where Mark will be doing his own editing on his own interview. Um, so Mark, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said, and I'm not going to say it all now. I'm sure we will have our little tribute at the gala evening. But yeah, you have been the absolute core, the foundation of the Wetland Society since its inception 10 years ago. So tell us a bit about why you took this role 10 years ago. What enticed you?
Okay, I wasn't enticed. I was instructed by Paul Ferrell at the time at the Indaba in KwaZulu-Natal in 2010 at the closing event or whenever it was. Paul nudged me on the side and he said, "Mark, I need you to organize this." So I said, "Okay, Paul, I'll take it on." And I was happy to do so. Um, I'll be honest with you, I've got really good organizing skills. I know that. That's one of the things that I have. And I think Paul was looking at someone who could just be doggedly at this process and just take it forward and get stuff organized. Bless him and rest his soul. He tried as much as he could to actually get something done. But I think, people have certain skills, and one of mine was just to say, right, okay, let's get on with this. So yeah, actually, and it turned out to be a fascinating time of 10 years to see where we are today. A lot of work has gone into it. And yes, yeah, so it was at the Indaba that Paul said to me, get onto this. And it was about 2 years later that we actually got to a point where the society got established. And then we've been running it ever since then. So yeah.
So you are actually one of the legacies of Paul Ferrell. That's good to
Yeah,
know, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
An amazing person, him. We bumped heads a lot of times. Wow. I remember
With everyone, I'm sure.
yeah, no, he did.
He used to.
But I bumped heads with him a lot of times at the Gauteng Wetland Forum. But that's where it stayed. It was his passion about the environment and conservation and wetlands and things like that. And, he had a certain idea of how things should be. And we on the outside kind of like said, no, Paul, come, got to go this way, got to go that way. But I think we've all experienced Paul's interactions over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes quite a skill to be able to recognize the skills that are needed in something new like a society, and then who the people are in your community who has those skills who will be able to fulfill that role. So, that was quite far-sighted, seeing that you've been here for 10 years, that far-sighted from Paul to be able to, pinpoint
Yeah.
you and pinpoint you into this role. So you mentioned it like you have those mad administrative skills that I've come to appreciate a lot over the past 4 years, like seriously. But so what skills would you say do you need to be a good secretary?
Oh gosh,
Or not a good secretary, an
no.
outstanding
Yeah,
secretary.
outstanding. I like that. Lulu, you've just got to have the tenacity to get things done. It's an interesting place where we are as a country because I think everybody is so wanting to make sure everybody is happy with what decisions are going to be made. We are so used to asking everybody, are you okay with this? We're so used to stakeholder participation and getting almost everybody on board. And that's the difficulty. We overcompensate for getting consensus on things. So I kind of think that the main skill you've got to have is have a general idea, but then you've just got to drive it through. You've got to organize the meetings. You've got to organize the documents. You've got to get information to people so that they feel capacitated to then be involved. I think the whole discussion around saying, well, what do you guys think about this? And the nitty gritty, should we go into the nitty gritty of so many things? Let's just get the society established. And I think that's what Paul had struggled with over the years before that. He just wasn't able to get to the point where we could have this entity that was created. And I think I saw that as well, that guys, let's package all our concerns once we've got the vehicle. And once we had established the vehicle, a lot of things actually just came into place. So tenacity, Lulu, I think you've really, for someone who's got to run a society or even run some organization or place where you have to have consensus of different views, you just got to be tenacious and drive it through. Not that you're going to impose your will on other people, but more just say, guys, look, this is where we're going to get to. Let's get there, and then we can work with the structure. And I think that's what Paul wanted. We needed a structure, and then we could develop the ideas that go around it with that. Yeah.
And I think a lot of things kind of fall into place, exactly what you're saying now, when you have that structure. Like
Yeah.
some of the other things that you were worried about beforehand kind of just suddenly resolve themselves
They
once
do.
you have that
Yeah,
that foundation.
absolutely.
And that's something in my few years of being chair that really struck me is I never knew before joining the Wetland Society, which was the first society I've ever been on the board of, how much of a difference it makes to have that good and strong foundation, administrative foundation. It's almost like the society is only as strong as its administrative foundation.
Yeah,
Because so many
absolutely.
things hinges on it. If you
Yeah.
don't have that, then it's just a lot harder.
It
I can
is. I
be.
mean, you're quite right, and I think there was a lot of work by all of us went into it, and we were all trying to find our feet. And I knew that that was going to happen, but as I said, we got to a point where we actually established the society, but we then had a shell of an organization to work with. It was tangible. We could now go out to people. We had a logo, we had a website, we had a space where people could actually see something, whereas before it was all just talk. And I think that also helped us as a group of people over the 10 years that there was a common cause to look at now. There was a logo and an understanding of what that meant and some colors that went with it. It sounds stupid, but these little things are important to people that they can identify with something. So once we had a space that people could see, it started to realign or align our ideas as a group of people, bringing it in from the outside and saying, okay, we're going in this general direction now. We can see something. There was an opportunity that you could look at and say, well, now, again, there's a logo that we can put up somewhere at an event. We can start to market it as something. And I think that was core to really getting where we needed to be. And I think now the logo is pretty much understood quite widely. You know, it's seen around all over the place and what the colors are and what it means. And I think that's been a lot of background work that we've all tried to use. So in our communications, we've used the logo in our emails. In designing the newsletters, the logo is there and we have the color and the feel. You know, it's important for people to they can get interactive with it. So yeah, I think that was the important role that we needed to get to a space or a place where we had something to actually offer people, and they started buying into it as well. So I think that was key.
So over the past 10 years or so, is there a specific moment from this time that stands out for you that you'll never forget? It either good or bad, of course.
You know, Lily, to be honest, I think all of the 10 years have been good. I can't believe that it's actually 10 years since we sat at the Water Research Commission on a Friday afternoon. I think it was 2:20. I remember looking at my watch, and we actually had it recorded in the minutes of that meeting at that time. And I said to the people that were there, so look what we've actually done. We have actually established a society. And I can't believe, as I said, that it's been 10 years. It feels longer sometimes, but it is 10 years that I've been involved with it. And I think, to be honest, the people that I've met have been incredible. It's the opportunity to deal with what I call my people, you know, scientists, environmentalists, river people. There's something about this group of people and wetland people specifically that I feel we're all on the same page, really. And I do call them my people because it's what I feel. There's a closeness to it. And honestly, the people that I've met through the society, the various chairpersons, the trustees that have come and gone, We've had such good laughs, we've had such good interactions, and we've had such good working conditions that I think that to me has to be the highlight of where we're at now with the society. It's still got a long way to go. And I foresee that if what I felt, others can feel if they come and serve as a trustee, they will get that enjoyment out of it too. It's a lot of hard work, but it's fascinating and wonderful just dealing with the people. I think the people are fantastic. I just love you guys.
But still you want to leave. Like, what's up with that?
Yes.
I'm just kidding. That's not one of the questions. That's not one of the
No,
questions.
but let me answer it then. No, it's a very good point. I enjoy technical aspects. I enjoy technology, and I enjoy computers and IT stuff. And I want to spend more time in the back office, because then I don't have to deal with the day-to-day runnings of the society. I mean, as you know, I've done the run the website. We've done the membership stuff and things like that. Now that's day-to-day interaction that you have to deal with, and I've just gotten over it. But looking at the opportunities that we've got now, we've developed a new website. It's online. People can actually join the society like any other society. It's all e-commerce. You can do it online. I don't have to be involved in the day-to-day running of the stuff anymore, but I am keen to support the back office. So any new ideas or technologies that we can use, I will still be around supporting whoever the committee or the trustees are. But I'm not going to be here as the face of the society as such anymore. I'm going to be in my little room at the back doing that sort of stuff. And I think that will provide me with a bit of a break. Also, not patting myself on my back too much, but it is difficult for me to remove myself from the society in one go. So kind of like, I think in stages, I need to extricate myself. And we do need to find new people that want to come on board and take things forward. I mean, I'll be honest with you, my ideas and thoughts on that must be stale in a way by now. We need new people to come and drive it. So yes, that's where I'm going, but I'm not going to be away.
Yeah, that's it's very true what you're saying, and also I'm very happy to hear that you're not just gonna disappear to a different country or something.
No, not at all.
Over the next year or two.
No.
Yeah, it's also just interesting what you're reflecting on, that meeting at the WRC where the society was founded. I was there.
Yeah.
I was the little student skivvy writing
That's right.
the minutes
Yes,
you were talking about. Yeah. And it's just, yes, yeah, sorry, this is a tangent, but I actually remember Paul Farrell telling me, this little young student, that you should be happy that you're writing these minutes, because in 10 years from now on, you will say, I was at that founding meeting.
Yeah.
And it's a bit incredible to think now that, 10 years later, and here I am saying, I was at that founding meeting.
No, it's true.
Even if it was as the skivvy, but I was there. Okay, so side question. What's the deal with the shirt changes and photos of cupcakes and muffins? And I think you need to explain that internal joke to
no, that's fine. All right. We'll deal with, sorry, I'm just my one cat is
a cupcake.
Yeah, well, one cat has just woken up. He keeps me company next to me here, and he's just turning around and going back to sleep as they do. Luke, life is, we live in a space sometimes where things are just too much, and you've got to laugh. You've got to have a giggle, and you've got to just enjoy each day and each moment as it comes. And when we started doing that, or when we went for that first online event, I thought, I wonder just how interactive or attentive people can be. I'm here giving my time willingly to you, and I expect you all to be listening 100% of the time to what we're saying, because we're doing this for you. Yes, and watching. And blow me down. When I decided to change my shirts between each of the events, people picked up on it. They really did. And it was just something that grew from that. And I think it's just fun because people remember those little quirky things that go with that. And that's just to add, just be be uplifting and laughing at things. So then to the wider audience about the issue about muffins and that, well, when lockdown came, it changed our lives for everybody. It was something to go through. But again, I think we all needed to have some levity in that situation. And I'm being very fortunate to have an amazing wife at home who wasn't busy working at that time. So she had extra time on her hands whilst I was here in this room working like we all had to. And she took on the baking role of keeping me fed during lockdown. And bless her, she tried out a whole variety of baking muffins. Because, at that time, you couldn't go out to the shops and you needed some sustenance. And it was amazing because every day, literally, there were 2 batches just about of muffins that would last us 3 or 4 days. And then another batch would get baked. So for you guys out there, what would happen is on our WhatsApp group for the society, I would take these photographs of the muffins that had literally just come out the oven, that had been baked by Jen and were ready there to be eaten. And wow, the comments I got were quite interesting. People were so jealous. They were prepared to get in their cars and drive around to my house to have tea and muffins. And it's kind of like also being, again, just a little bit of something of brevity and laughter. That anytime anything's been cooked in the house, I'll take a photograph of it and share it on the WhatsApp group. But that was more to actually just get through lockdown and survive. So yes, the muffins and the t-shirts or the shirts, I think people will remember me for.
Well, yeah, I think Jen, she definitely has established herself as yeah, yeah, a skill that she can definitely fall back on if her daytime job doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for the new board. They're gonna miss out on your pictures of all the cupcakes and
the culinary delights that I'll share.
Exactly. Cool. Mark, last question. So what would your vision be for SAWS after you leave? Where do you see SAWS in another 10 years' time?
Lulu, I really hope that the society can grow the awareness around wetlands. It's a very small group of people that do wetland science, I think, in the country. And I think that's where we're always going to struggle. It's not like the IAIA type of societies or the engineering societies that we have, where you've got large numbers of people that join and make a difference to the financial pot of the organization, which allows them to do a lot of things. The wetland group is a very small group, and I think we've got to break out of that restrictive mold in a way, and we've got to engage with the other sciences. And I think that's where the whole issue of the SACNASP registration of a subfield of practice is going to be essential to growing that interaction with other groupings of people. And we need to drive that so that people can see actually the wetlands are the ones that bring a lot of disciplines together. Yeah. And wetlands are probably a very core and central aspect to a lot of environmental landscape features that we deal with. And we need to get that recognition out there. So geology, geohydrology, hydrology, etc., come together in the wetland sort of core. So I would hope that we can see that we can grow membership around that aspect. It's going to be difficult to just grow it directly from a wetlander, but we need to bring in the influence or the support of other societies or other recognized disciplines that come into this melting pot, I think, of what wetland science does. And SACNASP is going to, be the route that we've got to drive that. But getting the society to that point, I think we've really got to look at driving the involvement of students in the society, exposing them simply to what the society does, how they could get involved in, for example, even putting their hand up to assist with the Indaba, or getting involved in their local wetland forum, that they can provide support and assistance to that. Because at that level, the student level is so critical to generating a want or a need or an awareness or a drive that someone might have to think, I want to go into wetlands, to be exposed to the various people that are out there, and it will give them something tangible to work with. So I think we've got to look at those two aspects. And I would hope in 10 years' time that the society has established itself together with a lot of the other environmental societies that we have in the country, that stands well on its own 2 feet and can stand up there and say, we support or are involved in these aspects of water resource conservation, and that we interact with a lot of other groupings or societies in that way, and that we want to be central to what you do because we believe we are cross-boundary in terms of what wetlands are and things like that.
Yeah.
So I hope that kind of like answers that question for you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a lot of food for thought. Thanks for that. It's actually, I haven't thought about it like that before. Sure. Okay. Well, for the next board, there's your challenge
Yes.
for the next 10 years. Yeah. Well, thanks, Mark. Appreciate it, and thank you so much from all of us for the past 10 years hard work. It's really, I think you have done the bulk of the heavy lugging of the society and getting it. You were absolutely crucial in getting it to the point where it is today. So we thank you. We thank you for that.
Lily, it's been an absolute pleasure. As I said, it's the people that I've interacted with that have kept me coming back year after year. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, we will see where it goes now with me in the back office and the new trustees doing what they want to do. But thank you for the time as well, Lulu. Appreciate it.
No, and you. Thanks, Mark.